A very good evening to one and all. So I'm Dr. Kanimuri Sadasivam, Professor of Physiology. Today we are going to be looking at the physiology of taste sensation. So what are the specific learning objectives for the day? We'll be looking at the various types of taste sensation, and then we'll be touching upon the different types and functions of various taste receptors. We'll be tracing the taste pathway, and also we will be looking at the pathophysiology behind the different disorders of taste sensation. So basically, what is this taste sensation? Taste is the one which drives our appetite and also protects us from poisonous substances. How? Because most of these poisonous substances are bitter, and our general human reaction to bitter and sour tastes are an aversive avoidance reaction. Thus, it is having a protective effect. Similarly, we like this taste of the sweetness of sugar because we have an absolute requirement of carbohydrates. We crave for salt. Why? Because you need electrolytes. Proteins are the basic building blocks of our body. And this new taste called umami, which is a meaty, savory taste, drives our appetite towards amino acids. There are primarily five different taste sensations. As you all know, sweet, salt, sour, bitter, and umami. So what are the chemical constituents which makes up the sweet sensation? The sweet taste is produced by organic substances like monosaccharides, polysaccharides, glycerol, alcohol, aldehydes, and also chloroform. Inorganic substances like lead and beryllium also taste sweet. That is why these cheap tiny toys, they add lead as a binding agent for the color. And children generally put and keep licking the toys in their mouth. Why? Because lead has a sweet taste. Now coming to salt. Salt is mainly produced by chlorides of sodium and potassium and ammonium, and also nitrates of sodium and potassium. Certain sulfates, bromides, and iodides also produce salt sensation. Coming to sour sensation, sour is basically produced by hydrogen ions in acid and acidic salts. Bitter, as I've already mentioned here, is produced by substances like caffeine, quinine, strychnine, morphine, pyric acid, bile salts, and certain inorganic substances like salts of calcium, magnesium, and ammonium. All these are bitter. The bitterness of these salts are mainly because of the cations. Now coming to umami. Umami is a recently recognized taste sensation. Umami is actually a Japanese word which means delicious. The receptors of this specific sensation is usually responding to a chemical substance called as glutamate, which is present in Ajinomoto, that is monosodium glutamate or MSG. Now we'll be going to a very important slide. What are the basic taste sensations? What is a mechanism of stimulation, and which part of the tongue that gets stimulated? We already saw sweet is produced by what are all the various sensations. So now I'll go to the mechanism of stimulation. Basically, what happens here is the taste transduction is a process by which the taste receptor usually converts the chemical energy into action potential in the taste nerve fibers. The receptors for taste sensations are basically chemoreceptors, which get stimulated by the substances. These taste producing substances, chemical substances, get dissolved in the saliva. And these receptors, since they're chemoreceptors, they are getting stimulated by this substance dissolved in the saliva. So now the taste receptor is basically a G protein coupled receptor, GPCR. It is also known as G protein gustation. So for sweet, now coming to the sweet sensation, how was the sweet sensation produced? So as I told you, the receptor is GPCR receptor. These substances bind to this receptor and they cause depolarization via activation of cyclic AMP pathway. The part of the tongue that is most sensitive to sweet sensation is the tip of the tongue. Coming to bitter sensation, bitter receptor is also a GPCR receptor. The substances bitter, the chemical substances in these bitter substances, they activate the phospholipase C through these G proteins. It produces ionocetyl triphosphate, which initiates calcium depolarization by releasing calcium. The posterior part of the tongue is more sensitive to bitter sensation. Coming to sour sensation, the receptor for salt and sour sensation is called as ENaC receptor, that is epithelial sodium channel receptor. Okay, so what does it do? When the sodium ion enters, this receptors will release glutamate, which causes depolarization. And the posterolateral half of the tongue is very sensitive to salt sensation. For salt sensation, the anterolateral half of the tongue is sensitive. For both these cases, it is ENaC receptors, which causes depolarization by increasing the sodium ion permeability in case of salt, and in case of salt sensation, along with the ENaC receptor, there is also blocking of potassium channels. Coming to umami sensation, the receptor is metabotrophic glutamate receptors. Okay, M stands for metabotrophic glutamate receptor 4. So this causes, glutamate causes depolarization of this receptor. The exact mechanism is still not clear, but activation of umami is intensified by the presence of GMP, okay, guanositol monophosphate. The part of the tongue which is most sensitive is also not yet identified. Now coming to the, we just saw how these sensations are perceived and how an action potential develops. So what was I basically telling? The chemical substances in these various taste sensation have to get dissolved in the saliva to activate the receptor. So what is this taste receptor? It's a chemoreceptor. Basically, the sense organs for taste are the taste buds. Very important question they keep asking in Viva and MCQ. The sense organ for taste sensation is the taste buds. Basically, these taste buds are located on the papillae, which is present on the tongue. So first we will see about the papillae, then we will move on to the taste buds. So the taste papillae can be seen all through the tongue as a small red dots or raised bumps, particularly in front of the tongue. We have 4 different types of papillae. Fungiform papillae, which are usually found near the tip of the tongue. These fungiform papillae contains around a moderate amount of taste buds, say up to 10 taste buds. Then comes valate papillae. They are arranged in the shape of V on the back of the tongue. It is also called a circumvallate papillae. These are usually present in the posterior part of the tongue and they contain more than up to 100 taste buds. Then comes the filiform papillae. These are very small conical shaped papillae which is situated on the dorsum of the tongue and they do not contain taste buds, or if at all, very, very, very few taste buds. Then comes foliate papillae which are present at the lateral border of the tongue. That is with the location and the features of these papillae. Okay, so this picture is again telling us the location of various papillae. So the V-shaped in the posterior part of the tongue, we have the valate papillae. On the lateral aspects, you have the foliate papillae, and at the tip of the tongue, we have the fungiform papillae. And then in then moving on to the taste buds. So on these papillae, we have these taste buds. So these taste buds are, as I already told you, the sense organ for taste. They are not only present on the tongue, but they are also located on the palate, the pharynx, and the papillae. Other than the papillae of the tongue, they are also located on the palate and the pharynx. Now coming to the structure of the taste buds, these are ovoid bodies measuring around 50 to 70 micrometers in diameter. In adults, about 10,000 taste buds are present, and the number is more in children. As we keep aging, degenerative changes starts appearing and the number of taste buds keeps reducing. A taste bud or a taste receptor is basically made up of supporting cells, basal cell, and 5 to 18 receptor cells called as gustative receptor. The structure what you see here is a taste bud. Okay, so here we have not 1 but 4 different types of taste buds as a type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Okay, so what are these various types? So as I told, taste bud is basically a bundle of taste receptors with supporting cells, basal cell, as well as these taste receptor cells. Okay, now these taste receptor cells are of 4 types, type 1, 2, 3 and 4. Type 1 and type 4 cells are basically the supporting cell. So this type 1 and the type 4 what you see here are, this long cell is type 1, these are type 4. So 1 and 4 are supporting cells. Type 3 cells are the actual taste receptor cells. These blue color cells here, the type 3 cells are the actual, these are the actual taste receptor cells. And then we are moving on to the type 2 cell, the function of which is still not known. Okay, so now all these cells, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, they are all joined together at the base, right? And then they have this opening called as taste pore. It is only the villi of these receptor cells which project into the outside. Okay, so these receptor cells have a number of microvilli projections in which project into the taste pore, and this has a life cycle of around a very few days. And then unmyelinated nerve endings are seen at the base of these receptor cells. So that is with the structure of our taste buds. So these are the microvilli which comes in contact with the chemical substances. Now coming to the taste pathway, the sensory nerve fibers from the taste bud travel by three different nerves. The one from the anterior 2/3 of the tongue, the taste sensations are carried via the chorda tympani of the facial nerve. Posterior 1/3 of the tongue through the glossopharyngeal nerve. And then from the pharynx, epiglottis and palate, the vagus nerve carries these sensations. Now coming to the pathway, the axons from the first order neuron, that is from the facial nerve, chorda tympani branch of the facial nerve, glossopharyngeal nerve and the vagus nerve, they carry the sensations to the medulla oblongata, and they terminate in the nucleus of tractus solitarius. So first order neuron terminate in the medulla. So from the taste bud, the sensations are carried by the three different branches of nerves, and they go and synapse these. This is the first order neuron which is ending in the nucleus of tractus solitarius, which is located in the medulla. From the nucleus of tractus solitarius, the second order neuron will start, and then the second order neuron terminates in the posterior ventral nucleus of thalamus. So second order neuron starts from the nucleus of tractus solitarius, and they pass through the medial lemniscus, and then they end as in the posteroventral nucleus of the thalamus. The third order neurons are from the posteroventral nucleus of thalamus. They go and project into the parietal lobe of the cerebral cortex. They project into the parietal lobe of the cerebral cortex. The blue lines are the first order neuron, the red is the second order, green is the third order. First order neuron is from the taste receptor until the NTS in medulla. Second order neuron from the NTS in medulla through the medial lemniscus into the posteroventral nucleus of thalamus. Third order neuron starts from the posteroventral nucleus of thalamus to the parietal cortex. Okay, now coming to the taste center. The center for taste sensation is the opercular insular cortex, that is the lower part of the postcentral gyrus. This region basically receives the cutaneous sensations from the face. Thus, taste fibers are the only fibers which don't have an independent cortical projection. They are sharing it with the fiber area responsible for cutaneous sensations of the face. So that is a taste pathway. Now coming to the concept of threshold and adaptation. In order of increasing threshold, bitter has the lowest threshold. That is very little amount of bitter sensation also we cannot tolerate. Immediately you will be able to appreciate the taste. Then followed by sour, and last sweet and salty sensations. Taste receptors also show adaptation by elevating the threshold level. So when you look at the threshold level of various substances, these are important for your MCQ. Bitter sensation as little as 1.6 micromoles per liter can reach its threshold at 1.6. Whereas for sweet, it is around 80,000. Salt 2000, sour around 100 microliters, 100 micromoles per liter. What do you mean by after effects? Some substances alter the taste of other substances. A plant protein called as miraculin, when applied to the tongue, makes the acid taste sweet. Similarly, we would have all experienced this. After chewing betel nut, pan, or even after eating amla, when we drink water, it tastes sweet. These are called as after effects. Similarly, there is something called as combination of taste sensations with other sensations. That is, when the taste sensation combines with other sensations, then it gives rise to a completely different sensation. For example, combination of taste, smell, and touch gives rise to something called as flavor. Combination of taste with pain gives rise to the sensation of ginger. When we eat ginger, what sensation we are getting? That. Okay. Now coming to the disorders. Ageusia means loss of taste sensation. Temporary loss of taste sensation usually occurs with certain drugs like captopril and penicillamine, which contains the sulfhydryl group of substances. Hypogeusia is decreased taste sensation. Dysgeusia is disturbed taste sensation. It is usually found in temporal lobe syndrome, particularly when the anterior region of a temporal lobe is affected. The person will have hallucinations of taste and smell, which are usually very unpleasant. Taste blindness is a rare genetic disorder in which the ability to recognize the substance by taste is completely lost. I hope you understood the class. If you have understood the class, then you will be able to answer these MCQs. Which of the following substance is responsible for umami taste sensations? You can put the answer in the comments. Later on, I'll give you the answer key with explanation. So which of these following substances produces umami sensation? Is it acetic acid? Is it potassium tartrate? Or is it organic substances containing nitrogen? Or fructose? Or is it glutamate? And then second, we have another statement you have to find which is correct in this. Which of the following statements regarding the transmission of taste information from the tongue to the cerebral cortex is correct? Majority of the thalamic neurons and taste pathways synapse in the occipital lobe. Option B, nerve fibers carrying taste information from the tongue has no synapse in the brainstem. Option C, nerve fibers carrying taste information from the tongue, synapses in the solitary nucleus. Option D, thalamic nucleus involved in taste pathway is the dorsal medial nucleus. Option E, thalamic nucleus involved in the taste pathway is ventro-posterolateral nucleus. So which among these statements is correct? You can always ask your doubts in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to clear your doubts. Thank you.